Welcome to the Wasteland, a place for gamers of all kinds. If you like this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.
Welcome to part 2 of opening fancy pre-release kits for Streets of New Capenna. Damn, the box, if you will.
Well,
No? Big box.
ooh, the big box.
Big boy box.
Here we go.
It's your big boy. Alright. So, pre-release.
Pre-release.
How'd it go for you?
It went very good for me because let's see which ones we had here.
Should be a line of Brokos. And then a line.
Yes, because I picked the Brokers, and went quite well for me. I quite enjoyed playing with the commons and uncommons in those colors in there. Now,
That's really what you want from a draft
You can't-
limited situation is like the commons and uncommons are good. Right?
so when you were asking in part 1 earlier about for which one is the one to pick if you're be playing in a limited environment, and we came to the conclusion it was the Brokers, is because you can't count on your rares and your mythics.
Right.
They're gonna come. And in these, you don't even know if your seeded packs are going to even have your colors in them.
Right? The promo is actually still just random.
And so you're counting on your commons and uncommons, and that's a true thing in any limited environment. You can agree on that.
Right.
You can't count on what your rares and mythics are, but your commons and your uncommons are going to be passed around. You're going to see a couple of them. So when you're looking at what your commons and uncommons are in all 3 of those colors, there is a lot of great commons and uncommons in there. Not saying you're not getting in other colors, but one of the key cards I like looking for in a limited environment, just to give a basic example of something you see in almost every modern card set, is the classic a creature card in common that when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. You usually see that in white or in green. Coincidentally, Brokers has white and green.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you're just looking at your commons and uncommons there, the 3-drop Angel, and the name is escaping me at the moment. For the 3 mana flying, well, we'll see if I can open one here. Here we go. Inspiring Overseer.
How convenient.
Perfect for what I'm trying to explain here. So 3 mana flying 2/1 when it enters the battlefield, gain a life and draw a card. You cannot ask for more than that in a limited card. And I am always happy to see those kind of effects whenever I'm popping packs. Can never get enough of them. I will run.
Well, sometimes black has it, but it's usually like, and you lose a life, or and some negative effect or whatever.
Yes, that's how black often does things, but those are usually, that's when you'd want to be doing black. So, I should probably be matching what you're doing here.
Yeah, mirroring helps.
I shall mirror you as well then. Where are you? Where are we? Oh,
So I go multicolor, common and uncommon,
multicolor.
land, common and full art, and then white, blue, black, red, green, and then I'm going to have my rares and tokens on the end here.
So, go there. Multicolor. Lando. Oh, wait. Reset. Oh. And then. So, our rare Evolving Door. Not super exciting on that one, unfortunately.
If it's not super exciting, there's no need to show it.
Fair enough, fair enough. This is my first rodeo.
The people came here for the spice.
That is true. Why come here if you're not getting some spice, right?
Yeah. Not the spice melange.
Oh,
It's
this
a
would be.
different franchise. But,
Or wait, what are we calling? What are the kids calling this days? Halo?
oh, Halo. I suppose there could be some Halo happening. I have 2 of the same rares. This would have been a good pre-release.
Where are we putting our?
Oh, it's true enough. I don't have a space for artifacts, so we're gonna shimmy down.
Let's move down the bench.
Shimmy down one time.
I was getting.
I
I'm easily confused.
haven't gotten any artifacts.
That's fair. We're only a couple packs in here.
Frankly, I forgot their existence.
There we go.
And then that should put us, fully in frame. Well, mostly in frame.
We're shooting for it. We'll see. Let me try to match you a little bit.
Solid.
And so, wait, Wizard.
Oh, a little backwards.
Oh,
Common
Oh, all right.
I am.
And then, wait, commons there.
There are no uncommons. I just put four.
That is fair. That's fair. These ones though are.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. All right.
And then after that, we'll just kind of roll through. There aren't really commons and uncommons to speak of, other than like the cool legendary ones, which
Oh, that's a good one though. I
rolled around. Yeah, Lagrella.
going back on the brokers thing
The
though.
magpie.
Going back on the brokers though, those are the kind of uncommons you do want to see. I have a good story from our from the experience there. For the reason why I didn't get first with such a great pool I opened is because a gentleman happened to resolve that while having a Gyata in play.
Solid.
And funny fact with Gyata, when angels enter the battlefield, they enter with 1/1 counters on them, equal the number of other angels you control. They see each other entering the battlefield, so while he only blew up 2 things to make 2 3/3s, they weren't 3/3s, they were 5/5s. And
5/5's limited is pretty good.
yeah, when you don't draft a board wipe, which you generally don't if you haven't figured that out, bad news bears.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's going to require at least 2 removals, or I mean, a trade, I guess, if you have a flyer that can deal with that. But,
And
this guy, it's kind of funny. He's like a frag tusker callback.
oh,
Workshop War Chief.
I was matching your old one. I was fix it in the right spot. I'm slowly getting there. And wire tapping. And we're looking at a rabble rousing. Fun card. Managed to resolve one of those off the hideaway trigger. The hideaway trigger off of a fight fixing. Almost got both hideaway triggers off in one turn. That's why I like playing the brokers. What do
We are recording in a game store.
And
We are, in fact, a game store.
And there are games happening right now, including, I think, a couple of CDH and casual pods going on there. That's always fun.
For Commander, yeah. Unleash the Inferno. That's pretty cool. And it's in that vintage frame. Was it Golden Age?
Oh, it is hard to keep track of all of these. I'm going to have to be honest.
There are approximately 9 versions of cards. Now, not every card has 9 versions, but there's a variety of versions spread across the set, and that's not even including the foil and non-foil variations within those versions. So it depends on how you count.
All right. We have a Fleetwood Dancer. Not super exciting, but it is fun.
It's more rabble-rousing.
I do enjoy some rabble rousing. If you have not played against that card in Limited, for a fun fact, if you didn't read the card, the tokens you produce with it will trigger it on subsequent turns. That is a value, as we say in the business.
That's true. Alright, I'm into my next kit here.
But going in there, so when you're looking at uncommons for brokers, for why I enjoy it so much,
I don't know if anyone can read these codes, but
you
you made it.
You can pause the video and try to catch that. Maybe you'll catch the one that no one else did.
Anyway.
But for your uncommons, I think almost all of the uncommons that are in banned colors are playable. Like you were talking about you being an Obscura man, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at all of your really good uncommon cards in Obscura, most of them are just blue-white.
Right.
And you can run those in brokers. Not saying you can't. I've seen some very good Obscura decks. You had during that sealed, you did rather well yourself.
That's true. I went 4-0.
Yes, we almost played that one out actually, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, it would have been. Oh, that's right. We went 3-0 and 1.
Yep.
We drew into the end.
And yeah, we almost did that one. It was running a little bit late though.
That's true. So we just drew it out because it was like midnight. Mysterious Limousine and Tenacious Underdog.
Mysterious Limousine was my stamp promo, and it performed extremely well.
Yeah. This guy has Blitz, which is an interesting mechanic. I didn't get this the first time I looked at it, but
The draw a card part?
Yeah, you actually draw a card as part of the Blitz thing. So that's pretty good. So you cast it for its Blitz cost. It gains haste, and when the creature dies, draw a card. And you have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next instant.
Yeah, no. Very cool mechanic, Blitz. It's turning the option to turn creatures into a what do we call them? The
Ball lightnings?
The ball lightnings. That's correct. A ball lightning with a card draw. A ball lightning that replaces itself. I'll take that every time.
Fair. Although I do like Connive a little bit better.
Oh, it's not the strongest mechanic. I do Connive. We're going off of family mechanics. Connive might be the strongest of them.
Yeah. And Halo Fountain's pretty good.
We've had discussions on that. It is, if you were, especially when you're able to go wide, it is a very strong card.
Oh, and green-white, I think you just have to play it, right?
I'm going to go in for the reason why I'm not huge, like massively big on it, and I know that's a little bit of contention with some other players in our community, is that the card doesn't do anything if you don't have a creature in play, and that's the thing that gets me every time. Now, obviously, when you have the creatures in play and you're able to do any of its functions, it's a great card. You're not going to regret having it.
But yeah, its requirements are, have at least 3 mana, and then a creature that you can tap.
And so, well, that's not high. It's a card where if you top deck that after your opponent against a control deck drops a board wipe.
Although it's not the end of the world, right? Because then you play it, they probably don't counter it. And then once you do get creatures, you're off to the races.
As long as they're, depending how oppressive that control deck is. But going along it, yes, if you can keep consistent creatures coming out, the Halo Fountain is it'll pay off.
Right. I mean, it is an alternate way.
And
which isn't even the good part about it.
But it is something to consider. And what am I doing here? I'm taking too much Halo, folks.
It's not a drug. Right.
Listen, I believe Merriam-Webster defines a drug as a substance that inside of your body changes it. And I've heard the description that Wizards gives about taking it, and that sounds like a drug to me.
Fair. Some argue that a drug doesn't even have to go inside your body. Like, we don't call it cardboard crack for no reason.
I mean, it changes your body chemistry, right? Because, listen, if you've ever opened up a Masterpiece card of a pack, I can guarantee you your brain chemistry changed a little bit right there.
Or like in this set, if you open a Gilded Foil Xander, Lord Xander, that's like $100.
Or, what are we... I'm trying to think of some...
Granted, those are pre-release prices and bound to change. But whether they go up or down, we have yet to know.
Oh man, I thought I was messing these up again.
Over and over again.
Oh man, I am confusing myself here.
We all confused then.
I think I went off of the original thing where we had the common
Get a
Ooh, fun card.
What do you think about
Casualty? I think it's one of those mechanics where I think it's difficult to evaluate, because I imagine that could be a sleeper where being far better than you expected. It depends on the card.
Sure.
Also, it does inherently have a controlling mechanism where in deck construction, it is a card. They are instances of sorcery cards that want you to have creatures in play, so that puts a little bit of a deck constriction on it.
Right.
Now, the question your thing is for making decks where there's a little bit of conflict when you're designing them, is the power level of them enough to justify the hoops you have to jump through?
Right.
And that's where I'm not sure on Casualty. Where is keeping your 1s, 2s, and 3 drops? Three power, not drops. How many 3 power creatures do you want to sacrifice in order to get a double effect off, or a 1 or a 2?
It's interesting, right? Because like sometimes the creatures you want in play that you don't actually like attack or block with end up being 1 or 2 power, right? Like your Dryad Magistrates, your Containment Priests in white, for example, or your actual name?
Oh man, it's been going by Bob so long.
That's
it's the
fair.
awkward when you meet a friend and he gets a nickname, and
Right.
then you're like, "Oh, is Richard here?"
Yeah, Richard.
Oh,
Who is Richard?
Richard. We don't have any. Oh, you mean Bobby?
yeah. Dark Confidant is his name, though.
Oh, that's his legal name.
That's his legal name. But yeah, that guy's real good. He don't got a whole lot of power though.
And all right, in that case, see, that's a very good example of when casualty is good, because sure, you love to draw cards. Most time you're willing to pay that one life, but sometimes when your life total gets a little low, Bob's got to go.
Right.
And
Obscura Interceptor is
as a card,
card I like. Gets around uncounterable things. Also, like, it's a 3/1 with lifelink that sometimes is a 4/2 with lifelink. So, like, it also just blocks really well and gains you life.
I mean, historically, people play cards that just have flash on them.
Oh, right. They got flash on them?
Yeah, it becomes playable just by having a flash card, you know?
Yeah, well, it turns out literally any card that you can play at instant speed is better than not doing it at instant speed.
You know, my preferred casting time is someone else's, and we're looking at Soul of Emancipation.
Ooh, you know it's similar to that. It goes good with your previous card. It's Fiery Emancipation. Not in the set, obviously, but man, 9 damage all non-token creatures. That kills most things.
Historically, it does.
But yeah, what's this guy do?
All right, so you're familiar with the card Terastodon, with when this creature enters the battlefield, choose up to 3 targets. Now, the targeting requirement's a little bit different on this card than Terastodon.
Yeah.
Whereas Terastodon can't target creatures, this one can. However, so for Soul here, like Terastodon, destroys 3 targets when it enters the battlefield and replaces them with tokens.
Yeah.
Now, where this gets a little bit different is at the targeting of what you target.
Yeah.
So, Terastodon can target lands, which, as you know, targeting 3 or replacing 3 or lands with 3 elephants is pretty good.
Yeah.
Or problematic stuff your opponent has.
Right.
Now, for this one, it can hit creatures instead of lands. So, sometimes you want to replace your 1/1s and your 2/2s with, these are 3/3 flying angels. I didn't mention that.
That is pretty good. But also, it's nice to replace your opponent's, giant dude with a 3/3.
Or, if you're playing in limited and someone puts a pacifism effect on one of your creatures, replacing the creature with a 3/3.
Pretty good.
And they are flyers. So again, when I was going in for brokers, this is a fantastic effect in limited. It is backbreaking to actually have someone resolve that against you.
This is the first time I've seen this Pegasus. 2/1 for 2, flying and trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if you had 2 or more creatures enter the battlefield under your control this turn. So that's interesting, because that forces you to break the normal play cycle of go to combat, then play creatures.
Second main is normally where you like to play those effects.
Yeah.
And I see that you've also opened a Gyata right there.
That's true. It's a reasonably popular Angel commander, which might make an Angel commander deck a playable thing.
I would go ahead and say it already does. I'm planning on taking a spin for myself.
Nice.
And then these 2 cards, like I mentioned earlier, when these angels enter the battlefield, they will, with Gyata out, they will see each other entering the battlefield and come in with 1/1 counters.
That's pretty good. What power level would you say you're trying to shoot for on a deck like that?
Oh, so now that's a tricky thing right there. In mono white, now someone here can correct me if I'm wrong here. It's probably not going to be running too much.
It's a sick looking murder, so we're clear.
The murder at common is something you do enjoy seeing.
Yeah. This one just looks pretty good. Hey, look, another murder.
But for power level, I'm expecting to be better than a precon, but I imagine since the deck is winning with combat damage and it's not doing things like infect or a lot of unblockable shenanigans, or you can't use a crater hoof, although with God out, you may not need a crater hoof.
But you can use, like, Cathar's Crusade, which
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Pretty good. So,
is for like a 6?
a little bit better than a precon, but I don't see it going too much further than that. I haven't tried it at all, so there's going to be a lot of interactions going in there when they're resolving. I could be completely off, and it might be much better than that. However, I can't imagine it being a CEDH card. And then watch someone proves me wrong on that one.
White is getting an awful lot of help these days, so maybe.
No, if it does, I don't think it'll be with Gyata, but we'll see. We'll see. I am looking forward to give that deck for a spin.
Oh, speaking of Gyatas, how about a promo one?
Ooh, no, that is what you would like to see. Now, even if, granted, White has access to, like I said, my favorite common in the set, being the 3-cost Angel. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of good blue-white Angels as well in this set. So, if you happen to pull a Gyata in there, there's just a lot of great Angels. Almost every Angel in this set's playable. So,
in limited, right?
In limited, of course. That's what I'm sorry. Limited is one of my preferred playstyles here.
Same actually. It's weird. I only started playing Commander because people weren't drafting or playing in like a constructed.
And I played because there's a lot of cards I love in limited that are great, but they're not. There's not really a good format for them in most constructed. But a lot of them end up actually shining in Commander.
Right.
Have we seen this Workshop War Chief here?
I did show one earlier, but he's kind of like a throwback to a Thragtusk, if you're familiar with that card.
So he misses some of the key things that Thragtusk has going for him, but it's still pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now, it's a big swing and a miss, I think, when they made it where he has to die to trigger the token. Mm-hmm. Because we all know the big thing that people like doing with Thragtusk is doing blinking effects with him. Yep. There was a standard, I believe, was doing what they had that with what was the angel that blinked it?
Restoration Angel. So you'd be like, oh, you're gonna play a thing? All right, well, I'm gonna play a thing and blink my thing. All right, it goes to my turn. My thing flips. All right, my turn. I'm not gonna do a thing. Flips back. I'm gonna do thing. Like you're like just flipping the dude every turn. It was ridiculous.
And the whole time you're making 3/3 tokens. Now,
have you seen Rocket Raccoon?
I have seen Rocket Raccoon. Now, going on that, where for Workshop War Chief, you can't abuse it as much as you could as Thragtusk. But what you get on the thing when you play it fairly is a stronger card. We're talking for this where there was no other real things you did with Thragtusk other than an ETB and leaving the battlefield.
Right.
This one you are getting it is a trampler. You're gaining life you gain life on that one, so in that aspect it's the same. But the blitz thing is what actually makes it separate there, where you weren't drawing a card off of Thragtusk.
Right. Yeah, and then if you're doing like graveyard recursion or like regrowth effects where you're getting cards back, like you just keep doing that.
That is the wrong stuff.
You're just like, oh, blitz him out. Blitz him out. Blitz him out.
And then I'd like to go in for one of my favorite commons in this, and I think that because this set is so pushed when it comes to playing 3-color, obviously with having the 3-color families.
Speaking of push 3 colors.
Ooh.
Broker's Ascendancy?
That is probably like I was explaining to a buddy of mine, that might be the hardest card to play against if someone resolves it against you. Mm-hmm. Their creatures will just time favors them.
Right. Like, yeah, if you're not being super aggressive or you're not dealing with their board on a regular basis, just like they'll play a Birds of Paradise and then suddenly, oh, I'm dead. To a Birds of Paradise.
And you're dead. So it is something that you have to consider when you are drafting. You're going to need, especially if anyone sits across you in Bant colors, you're going to want enchantment artifact or enchantment removal.
Yeah,
that is a pain to deal with.
I don't know if it's like main deck that you need it, but there is also Halo Fountain in the set, and traditionally unlimited, you got creatures.
That is what you're doing. But going back for a common that I think just about any deck should consider is this right here, this Paragon of Modernity.
Oh, for sure. Especially in a set that like basically is forcing you to 3 colors.
Exactly, that's where it's getting at. With you, if you're going 2-color, I'd be impressed.
Right.
But
Like maybe in a sealed kit, right?
But
You might be able to do it.
maybe, but I still don't even think that's right.
It may not be right?
But whereas looking at it is that one thing you like in a limited card is effects that scale. And that is a card that scales. It has innate flying. And you will just hit moments in there where you're drawing into... We've all been there in limited. You're just drawing and trying to see what you get to. And sometimes you need this thing to spend mana on. If you want to be efficient your turns, and you'd have an effect, it's a removal spell, a counter spell. Or even you're just drawing lands and you have nothing to spend your mana on. Having a flyer that you can put mana into to get bigger is relevant.
Yeah. This pack's interesting. I have this one.
Ormella.
Which is a spicy, and then the Maestro's Ascendancy, which is pretty good.
I like that Ascendancy where that one, well...
And then also, the Riveteers Ascendancy.
In the decks, now the Ascendancies are a bit built around outside of the Broker's one.
That's fair. Now, I might consider in this kit, had I been playing it, just splashing a green in there, man. Like, you know what I mean?
And this is my promo.
Oh, that's better than mine. Fancy pants.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you there.
That's fine. But even splashing for a fourth color in this is not like unreasonable, right?
Oh, this is some of the best fixing we've seen where we have numerous common mana fixing lands.
Yeah. Well, especially in sealed too, because I don't know if you've noticed, but like as we're opening the kits, it's like your triple color guy that you can exile to make a land tap for 3 mana, whatever your family is, right? Mm-hmm. And then you get 2 lands, one of which is the altered like Evolving Wilds situation. So just right off the bat in a sealed kit, you're starting off hitting the ground running.
And then, all right, another common that I like playing and I like in these colors, you can also run this Obscura, and I think you'll enjoy this as well in there. Celestial Regulator. Flying 2/3 when it enters the battlefield, you choose a target creature you don't control and tap it. If you control a creature with a counter on it, which if you're playing Brokers or Obscura, you're almost always going to have a creature with a counter on it. The creature won't untap during its controller's untap step. Yeah, and so if you're in an environment where you can't play Brokers, you'll play Obscura. Yeah. And I just love the commons and uncommons you're getting access to in there.
Now this is one of those cards that brings into question like how good is Casualty, which Cut of the Prophets.
First of all, that art is metal. I think that deserves something to be said.
It is. I put it on camera there. You can see it. But yeah, as you cast this spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 3 or greater. When you do copy this spell, you draw X cards and you lose X life. Now you gotta be careful, because you can kill yourself, obviously. But suddenly, sacking a creature with 3 power that, let's say, you spent 3 mana on, as long as this X is 3 or more, that's just great value, right?
And again, that's where you have to. It takes a smart play to use Casualty, is what I'm believing. So, the power I think is there, but it's really on you to get it.
Right, you kind of got to work for it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't spoon feed you like when you're looking at the shield counters for Brokers, Connive for Obscura, like they're very, very nice to you. Let me just put it that way.
Right. This is an interesting pack. I got the Uncommon Legend that I built a deck out of. Decks that we're actually going to play on the channel as well. So, and also came with its Ascendancy, which I actually don't think works that well.
That is the most. I'm talking first. There's just some cards that you look at and like. There's so many ways you could have made that card playable, and
like, why is there a spirit theme to it? I don't understand.
When there's no other spirits going in there, you have to play it exactly. They're forcing you to play cards on curve, and the payout I don't even think is worth it. It's so.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then looking at, I want to talk about so this right here, you may have already seen or shown it. Not super exciting in here.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it's the Widespread Thieving, so it's the red Hideaway card. Now, when I'm evaluating Hideaway cards, whether in limited or not, the Hideaway effect is obviously good. But you have to look at when you're evaluating these cards, is that what are they doing when they're not triggering the Hideaway? Because it only happens once anyway. So if you're looking into limited and such, The blue and green ones are fantastic. Another reason for playing in the colors I mentioned. Now, if you're looking at the other ones, the blue one, pretty good. The red one, now in limited, you should be triggering it because you're playing uncommon things, but at a certain point, you almost wish this was in green, because green traditionally is better at mana fixing.
Right.
So, sure, it makes treasure tokens, which the set seems very heavy on treasure tokens. I've heard
Taps treasures, though, a lot of them, right?
that effect itself is new, but I've heard a little bit on the grapevine some discontent for just how much treasure is being made. It's kind of just being thrown everywhere, it feels like.
Yeah. Although you can be a little more aggressive with tap treasures, right? Because you can't use them immediately. You can't chain one effect into another.
Yes, and I think that is a better way to do it. It's a bit safer, let me put it that way.
Sure.
And it went from one thing where now are we just going to be getting treasure tokens in every set?
Getaway Card? Ooh, and a foil even the score. This card is a spicy boy for sure. Especially against like a control deck or similar. Just trying to draw a bunch of cards, although like green is doing a reasonable job of drawing cards these days. White's getting up there in the ability to draw cards.
It was a ongoing meme for how much Wizards didn't like white, and then they've gone in for the last couple sets and really spoiled us.
Right.
Ooh.
Going hard.
This is, I'm sure we've opened one, you've seen one from part 1.
Foil in part 1.
Oh, you got a flex on me here. But now, you think a Mythic Walker, sure, it's going to be great. I think Elspeth might be one of the best walkers we've ever had in Limited. Obviously, it's not quite up there with the Wanderer. I don't think it's that far behind the Wanderer, though.
Although just in the previous set, that's what you mean, right? The Emperor?
The Wandering Emperor.
Yeah, okay.
Secret's out there, it's the Emperor.
Spoiler. Anyways, so yeah, not from War of the Spark, but from Tommy.
Yes, the Wandering Emperor.
Yeah.
I don't. So what I think a lot of people overlook and the value of, especially in Limited, it's insane because permanently improving your creatures in Limited is fantastic. Taking a 3/3 that you spent 4 mana on and then suddenly making it a 4/4 first striker, that changes how the game plays. Oh, you just have to.
Not only am I flexing on you from the previous video, I'm gonna flex on you in this video.
I'm kind of glad we didn't play out that this is how like my experience with Capenna is just everything I do, but Tim does it better. Then I'm kind of glad we didn't play that thing out.
Yeah.
Because
you can still open an Obby next. Or a Vivian. Vivian's good.
Yeah, so you can open the foil one.
I mean, ideally.
I guess maybe that's
Listen, it's a win-win at the end of the day, Dan.
I suppose my dignity is just gonna hurt a little bit.
That's fair.
But going back on Elspeth, that +1 is very relevant. And granted, I think this might be obviously more of a constructed thing when you're talking about rares and mythics. But as you've seen the new legendary equipment, Luxior.
Yes.
I
I don't think we've seen yet.
I don't recall if I've seen one when I was helping put away from part 1. It plays very well with Elspeth because if you look at how Elspeth is worded, if she becomes a creature with the sword, she becomes targetable by her own ability. Yes, so she goes from being a 5/5 when you equip, you +1, so now she's a 6/6. She puts a 1/1 count on her, which adds 2, so now she's doing the math there. I think that's 7. Then the ability counter, which also works with the sword, is now an 8/8 with the keyword ability.
Pretty good.
So that might be a thing that plays in a constructed in a 60 card format.
Maybe. 5 mana is up there on the curve, but not unreasonable to see, right? Like currently people are playing, was it Lolth, which is a 5 mana planeswalker on a regular basis, and that deck's like can get out of hand in the late game.
It is a deck.
This is the first time we've seen this one, Devilish Valet.
Oh, that is a fun card right there.
I mean, it's in red, so it's got that red thing. Trample haste 1/3 with Alliance, which I don't think we've mentioned yet. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, double Devilish Valet's power until end of turn, which Alliance is the Cabaretti. So whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it does a thing. But that one's interesting.
Creature call, if you will.
Because like you put enchantments or equipment on this guy, and suddenly we're getting out of hand real fast.
Or you just play any of your token producing spells that makes 2 tokens at one time.
Right, because then he goes to 4.
If we're looking at Commander and you're playing, speaking of Elspeth, Sun's Champion, make 3 1/1s.
Yeah, that's pretty
Triple the power on the spot,
Yes.
and that's not doing anything.
Oh yeah, no mana.
Mm-hmm. So now and it's only now for 3 mana for a 1/3 with on its own.
Is this our first Triumph?
Not. I've seen one in part 1. You
yeah.
You guys opened the Obscura.
Part 1 we got a few. Oh, we had the fancy Obscura one in part 1.
Ooh.
Check it out. It should be posted before this video. So.
And
although Dan, I will say you're behind.
I'm gonna say it's my first rodeo, and I'm still learning to talk and open and use the hands thing there.
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. Have we talked about the charms yet?
I have not gone into charms, but would love to see that. For a Inspiring Overseer, I should remember the name when I'm talking it up. For the charms, they are all pretty good. There's a couple though you need to keep in mind when you're talking about charms. Not all the modes are relevant in every. That's the issue with charms often.
Sure.
We got a Horde Holler. We'll go into that when
But also the benefit, right?
Oh, so you are paying for power for versatility, which, while I will say that versatility is no replacement for power, if you can have both, take it.
Sure.
And now, if you're playing in limited, for example, you got to be careful about the Grixis one, because the Grixis where you mill 5 and put 1 back in your hand, or sorry, look at the top 5, take 1, put the rest in your graveyard. That's a lot of cards to go in your graveyard in limited.
Sure. Yeah.
However,
you only got so many cards, so many turns.
However, the other mode of dealing 5 damage will kill 90% of creatures in limited, so take that with before you think I'm hating on that card. It is quite good. So most of them, you'll notice, have some form of removal, some form of card advantage, and then a little other utility in there. Now, again, going in there where I keep hyping up Broker's Charm does a lot of things you want to do in limited. So it is a bite effect, which is great if you have some death touch creatures in there. And if you don't, you're playing in green usually, your creatures will usually size very well versus your opponents.
Well, when you say bite, you mean it deals damage but doesn't receive damage, right?
Correct. So it pumps its power, so that is a great combat trick. I've had it where I went for a block where I would be losing a creature to pump its power by 1 to deal damage to another attacking creature to kill it, and then I raised its power so when the creature was blocking would die.
I believe we call that a 2 for 2.
Not as good as a 2 for 1, but when it's completely out of the blue and the opponent played right into it,
Right.
you love it.
Or you're exchanging, your 2 drop for their 4 or 5 drop or something like that, right?
Yeah. So I really like great form of removal for limited in that case. But you'll notice they all have that. But for the Brokers, sometimes just a very basic divination is one of the effects on it. Sorry, an instant speed divination.
Which is, as we've discussed previously, the best way to do things is usually at instant speed, no matter what they are.
Oh, a Jenny Faye. I have seen a lot of these. Good card. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Voice of Vermin. Have I seen this card? Oh, comes in with a shield counter. Gotta love that. If you have not played against shield counters,
Those are spicy. They're like totem armor, but a counter.
now,
So whenever it would be destroyed or die,
nope,
no, whenever it would be destroyed
or dealt damage.
So
So you can play around it. It's not.
you can like ping it, right?
You can ping it and then kill it,
Yeah.
for example. So yes, you can play around them, but for example, one of the uncommons you're going to want if you're playing in Brokers is the, I believe it's the 2-1 with double strike with a ship.
Oh yeah.
Having sat across that in my limited, I didn't get one unfortunately. The other guy who did, he definitely had one, and sitting across from that did not feel good.
Yeah.
When you're realizing that there is no profitable way to make these trades, I throw a creature in front of it, the creature's going to die before it's able to hit it to take the counter off.
Right.
I have to throw a larger creature into it and a kill effect to make that creature die.
Right. So it's almost inherently a 2-for-1.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, those are just real good and limited.
And it's such a painful thing where it's a 2 for, well, sometimes the 2 isn't even enough for the 1. And that's what I was stick across, where it'll take 2 kill spells to do it, or a kill spell and a sizable creature to kill it.
Yeah.
You're trading up either way.
The fancy looking incandescent Aria. Very good.
Alright, let's see. Now, a little concerning in these pre-release kits, with, I'm sure it's been mentioned here, the seeded packs are a little bit of random in there. I think you've mentioned that.
Yeah, where it's basically you get the uncommon, or sorry, the common 3-color thing that fixes your land.
Mm-hmm.
2 lands, one of which is the Better Evolving Wilds.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's mostly cards in those colors, and then a rare in your colors, but the promo is random, which is what makes it feel kind of weird. Right?
I believe that I think I've seen some things where the rare was the rare seeded.
It should be.
I would have seen. Now I got lucky in mine, obviously, because I did very well.
I haven't paid that close attention, to be honest with you, despite having opened many packs at this point. But maybe someone can comment about how it looks. I know it's a little difficult to see like individual cards as we're doing this, but
oh man, this one's fighting me.
struggling there?
Oh, I am struggling. They did not want this one. This is the first time I've opened a non-broker's pre-release kit, and I think the set is sending me a message that I need to stick to my lane.
Stay in your lane.
A Fleetwood Dancer. Wait, where's the? Am I losing my mind here? I thought this was the seeded pack.
You could be looking. Oh, what's the issue? Because before I got 2 pre-release foils in a seeded pack.
Well, this is interesting because I'm not finding the foil in this.
The pre-release card?
Yeah, unless we're gonna go back in the video and I just put it aside somewhere.
Oh, here's that card you were talking about, the
Disciplined Duelist. That is the card. That is, if you're in those colors, draft that card every time. You won't regret it. This is interesting. I think I opened one that didn't have the promo in it. Either that or I already set it aside and I'm losing my mind here.
Well, you can run back the footage and
see. We can all laugh at Dan on that one if I missed it, but it's not in the rare pile. It's not in the other pile.
It's a good thing we opened it and not the person.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see when you're. Doesn't feel good for your players and your events to be unhappy. So I'd rather.
Yeah, although when you're pre-releasing at a store, like I guarantee you, if you did that and let the people know, assuming you're not a shady type of individual they don't trust, they would probably just give you another kit.
But yeah, I think that is the first time I've seen one that didn't have the stand promo in it.
What was weird earlier when I got the one with 2 in it?
Maybe you got my promo.
I was in another case.
I'm just saying.
I couldn't tell you what it was, so. And it's random anyway, so.
Could have came from the same plant, maybe. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Maybe it's a sign that I shouldn't be playing.
Here's my seeded pack.
All right.
So there's the one with the mana fixing, like you said.
Yep.
The 2 lands.
All right.
An artifact. And then the cards in your colors. All right. Mostly commons. Uncommon. And then another uncommon. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Charm. I don't think it's a charm every time. And then this is the rare in your colors. And then the promo is random, which in this case.
Wait. Maybe I'm dumb. Oh, I am super dumb. It was sticking to the bottom. It was like face the other way behind it.
Oh my god. What is it?
Workshop War Chief.
Oh, and it's a Workshop War Chief.
All right. It turns out Dan is just dumb, guys.
Cross is worded. I don't know if we showed this one, but this guy's pretty interesting.
Ooh, that is the Haste Lord.
Yes, for your classic haste tribal. Or, if you like, ball lightning tribal.
Also works in there quite well, although every ball lightning I've ever seen had haste, so I guess that works in there too.
Yeah.
I believe that's also another one that makes the... Oh, it does.
Tap treasure.
It does make the tap treasure. That is an interesting card in there. Also, another interesting thing I like the rares where they're using the hybrid symbols in that way.
Right. Because technically, you could just pay red for this.
You can pay just red for it. That one would require an extra mana source, but for you commander players, especially if you're looking at the Obscura rare, the hybrid rare, you can cast off of a single Jeweled Lotus, even though it's 3 color.
Right. Pretty good.
And then
if you got the pockets for Jewel Lotus.
it's something to keep in mind.
This is probably the coolest card of the set.
Ooh, what is this?
Professional Face Break.
Oh, that is a fun card. Speaking on for a very heavy treasure set, which I guess if you're going to do a heavy treasure set, multicolor is the place to do it.
Right.
But just having it where whenever one or more creatures you control deal damage to a player, create a treasure token. You can sack that to... What is that?
Sack a treasure, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So it makes mana and draws you cards.
Card advantage and making mana when you hit things. Can't ask for more than that.
3-drop with menace? Yeah. Pretty good. I guess it's missing haste is all, but...
But it triggers off of when your other creatures do, so...
Yeah.
It might not be attacking, but you don't even have to turn that one sideways. It'll do it.
But you do want to play it in your first main phase, though.
You do want to play it in your first main phase, especially if you have another creature you're attacking with.
And then, I don't know if you've shown this one, but this one's kind of good as well. I'm not going to try and say that.
That is Zia Torres Envoy.
There you go. I say Envoy. Is that just me?
I think it's like a potato situation.
I mean...
No one calls it potato.
No one calls it potato, buddy.
Have we gone into Rigo?
Not extensively, certainly.
Alright, so Rigo. Streetwise Mentor. Enters the shield counter. Whenever you attack a creature or planeswalker with one or more creatures with power 1 or less, draw a card. So, you're familiar with Edric, of course.
I've heard of it, but for those not familiar.
Again, and this one is a green-blue creature that whenever a creature control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Commonly seen in EDH games, and anything that makes you draw a card without spending mana or consuming resources is very good. And so the interesting about Rigo is that while not necessarily every creature is guaranteed to trigger it, it triggers on attack.
Right. So if you had a card called, I don't know, Reconnaissance, you could just attack with literally everything that triggers it, and then pay 0 to untap those creatures and remove them from combat.
And again, going in there, for the color, you only need white mana to cast this, even though it's a 3-color spell.
Right.
So you can make an Edric deck that lets you use white. Now, as much as we clown on white for having historically weak cards, it has great removal.
Right. They say it's the color removal?
It's getting there. I don't think it's quite there yet.
Yeah. Speaking of getting there, dude.
Sounds like we got there.
It's our 3rd Vivian so far, so that's pretty good.
And then, going a little bit more on the Rigo, for when you're adding white to that Edric effect, because you've also seen Toski before, you can run all those cards in this 99 for making that a commander, but there's a lot of white creatures that at 1 power, like Dranith Magistrate, turning your hate bear creatures into sources of card draw is historically very good.
And because it has blue, you can actually play towards like just drawing your whole deck and winning that way.
Yep, it is a viable deck for, or if you want to be the degenerate take extra turns route you can do with Edric.
Sure,
it's playable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It turns out when you're drawing 10 cards a turn, the odds that you hit one of your was it 12
extra turn
spells or something like that.
Pick your poison on there, but yes.
This is the first time I've seen this guy in this frame. I didn't even know this.
Scheming Fence. I'm not sure which cards come in which format.
I thought it was just the Planeswalkers.
No, because I know Urabrask also comes in that. Because also you opened that in part 1.
I did, yeah. Well, okay.
Legendaries.
So yes. But are all? No, because not all legendaries come this way. Yeah.
I know the Gyata the Angel does.
Huh.
But it's interesting is that you can only get the foil versions then collector's boosters.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a head scratch to determine what you can open in this.
That's true. I mean, consult the internet, I guess, or your local game store.
Maybe they'll know.
But even then, like, I don't know, man.
Have we talked about this? Tenacious Underdog. Speaking of ball lightnings I like.
I did show one already, but we didn't, like, talk about it.
So, it is a 2-drop 3/2. Good stats for the... Good for what you pay for on that, right?
Sure.
And has a Blitz, 2 black, and pay 2 life. Not quite as fantastic on that part. That is interesting.
The rare and unique Rubber Band.
The Rubber Band of Yore. But
Just in the kit. I don't know.
continuing on for Tenacious Underdog, if you read the next line of text underneath its Blitz, which, if you're familiar with Blitz, obviously it's a ball lightning zip and you draw a card, you can cast Tenacious Underdog from your graveyard using its Blitz ability.
So,
You can keep that throwing a 3/2 at them and drawing a card every turn.
yeah.
And
Cost you 2 life, but, like,
if you're hitting them,
just give them lifelink and then who cares?
or I will make my opponent pay 3 life for me on my 2 and draw a card every time.
You do win that exchange, I suppose. Oh, alright, this is a pretty good pre-release kit. Got the dragon.
You got a dragon.
Yeah, the Zayatora, the Incinerator, and a Depopulate.
A little weird on colors,
now,
though.
granted, they don't go in the same deck, but the fixing is such that it's possible.
But
you might be
double white is a bit rough in
Well,
a
I was gonna say you might be in a situation where you're actually
band splashing red in,
right,
Or-
something like that.
or cabaret splashing black.
Cabaret special. But
Ooh.
I don't know. Keep an eye on the cards I open for this pack, and let me know what you would have done with it.
And then,
Oh, Demon's Due is great also.
ooh, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2.
It's cost 4.
Green commons you want to see when you're playing this. Jewel Thief. 2 and a green for a 3/3 Vigilance Trample. That is a fantastic rate, and the text keeps coming. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token, not a tapped one.
Nice.
And this is operating at a common. Things you want to see if you are... I don't care, as long as you are playing green, you want this card.
And you were getting slaughtered over.
I'm being I should be happy for you, and I'm just miserable. just miserable here.
To be fair, I have opened significantly more cards.
That's fair. I think if we take the averages in here, you're not that far ahead of me, but you are ahead of me.
So currently you've opened 4 kits?
No, I've opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know how much.
7. You should have opened 7. Yeah, because you're 1 into this.
Yeah.
Right. So you've opened 2 stacks in 1. I've opened
Million? Close to a million.
I've opened 2. I don't know, but just look how many more things I have.
I think some of those, I don't think all of those are mine back there. So
I don't know, it's unclear. It's unclear what's happening.
I'm getting dunked on.
All I know is that Dan's getting dunked on. In terms of
Life, I guess. I mean,
life, really.
yeah, I'm really, I got nothing. You've taken everything from me, Tim.
What did it cost you? Well, it cost me anyway.
Sanguine Spy. Have you,
Broken Sentencing?
the Broker's Tendency is great. Sanguine Spy here is I think it's a card that I don't never heard anyone here talking about, and I'm really a fan of. Again, decent rate, 2/3 for a 2 and a black. Menace and lifelink. So that's really good what you're paying for. You can pay 1 and sack another creature to look at the top of your deck, and you can put that card in your graveyard. And the text keeps coming because
Which is kind of, well, it's almost exactly surveil, right? But they're just not going to put surveil as a keyword in this set.
Because Surveil is out,
Not evergreen, right?
and they only use it either in the set it's the premiere set it's in,
Correct.
or in the Modern Horizons 2 was the other set. Now, continuing on there, the reason why that surveil effect is so relevant, at the beginning of your instep, if there are 5 or more mana values among cards in your graveyard, you may pay 2 life if you do draw a card. Now, it's not quite Bob in there, but it's a better body than Bob. And it's a Bob that can gain you life back.
Right. Which he traditionally costs you.
So, very good card. Is it a Bob? No, because Bob gets on the beginning of your turn, not on your instep. But it's a Bob I would evaluate very highly. Going back on charms, a Riveteers Drum. I think this might be the strongest charm we have in the game. So, going back here again with the Riveteers Drum, I think this is the strongest charm. Saying that, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker they control the highest mana value on creatures and planeswalkers they control. It doesn't target, which is good and bad, and usually the more valuable ones are usually the ones you want to target. It's a little bit play aroundable, but keep going on here. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next instep. You may play those cards, which this is obviously on an instant. So when you are playing this on an opponent's turn, you have that entire turn cycle until it gets back to you. So the Broker's Charm gives you 2 cards as a divination. This gives you 3. Little conditions going in there, but quite good. And then the exile target player's graveyard. When you want it, you want it.
Right.
And that's probably some of the best places to put this is on a modal effect, because sometimes you don't need to hit graveyards.
Right. As you saw there, we opened a Spara's headquarters, which is a foil Bant Triumph, and also in the, what style was this?
Oh man, they have
Skyscraper?
I believe that is the Skyscraper one.
Okay.
Because it's not the Deco one.
It's not our deco, because these don't come in our deco.
And the lands are the Skyscraper ones, if I recall.
Oh, okay, so then this isn't Skyscraper, then this is... Or no, this is Metropolis.
Sorry, that's Metropolis, that's Skyscraper, sorry.
Yeah, we got there in the end, boys. What we're really going to be looking for, though, is the orderless lands, which are nuts.
I do love them.
Nutso in the butso, as they say. This card's cool. It's not particularly valuable, but the art's sweet.
It is.
And, a 3-mana 4/2 with haste that has indestructible the turn into the battlefield is pretty good.
Pretty good. All right.
I might play it in Ball Lightning Travel.
It is considered.
Obscura Interceptor. I really like this card.
I've had to explain that one when it's like, hey, what can this target? And it was a little interesting on there for having to explain for hitting a spell, and then trying to explain to them why.
Like what a spell means?
Yes, and then trying to explain to them why that's good.
Aren't they all spells? Yeah!
A Body Launder, I believe you pulled a couple of those.
That would be our 3rd one. It's unfortunately not the most impressive mythic, but we've also pulled 4 Elspeth, so beggars can't be good.
It is a reanimate on death, though. Oh, sorry. It is a reanimate. It takes it to the battlefield. That is... So, is it exciting? No. But that's a card that gets work done, though.
Sure.
A little chat. Card that's not super exciting, but again, this is a fantastic card to, pitch as well to using as a casualty effect, where you're getting value off it. But looking at a little chat, it is an instant 1 in a blue with casualty 1. So you can feed your token fodders away with this one.
Sure.
Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand and the other in the bottom of your library. For a little, that's something you'd... So you get rid of a 1/1 you're not excited about in this spell, and you get 2 cards back.
Nice.
You're 2 for 2ing yourself, but it gets work done.
Nice. I mean, on an uncommon?
On an uncommon instant.
Yeah.
Also can use in response to throwing it in front of a, you chump block with a 1/1, and then use that to replace the 1/1 that's going to die anyway.
Yeah. Basically free then.
Mm-hmm.
You like how, you got almost, lightning bolt in here?
They tease us. They tease us. Stimulus package. Ooh, not the greatest card, but I did enjoy when I got my stimulus package.
This card looks real good. Hostile Takeover, which I think we've talked about previous. Man, the art in this is just good stuff. And I think that's obvious.
It is a demon, and so far every demon I believe we see in this set is either one of the 5 mythic family leaders or Hobby himself. I think this cavalry is done. Ooh, I have the last cavalry. And then it means I'm gonna have to be opening these and like while I'm talking. It's a challenge here. I gotta step up.
Fair.
Alright. And I'm assuming that the
once again, off camera, there's just a pile of stuff.
Unfortunately, we couldn't afford to put both trash cans over here.
Well, you know, that's part of the reason why we started this YouTube channel, is to spread the fun and joy of opening packs and playing Magic, and there's some Minecraft on here if you're into that kind of thing, and we'd like to do other things as well if anyone cares. Mention it. Maybe we'll open some Pokemon and see how it goes. But yeah, we really trying to fund, doing stuff.
We'd like to move on, and do a little bit more. Not that we're going to stop doing this, of course. We enjoy doing this, but
that's great.
Just broaden and add a little bit more to it, and make
it a little bit better, I believe, because this camera's not great. Setup's a little wonky. Although we are going to be moving here. What are we now? April? March? What month is it?
We are.
What year is it?
We are at the end of May. Or no, May. I'm saying April. Wow. You threw me off there when you're throwing the month names out there. I'm not gonna lie. You tripped me up.
So it's the end of April right now. We're looking to move in July to a better location, and then hopefully we can get a better setup. The mic's pretty good, but that's pretty much it.
Trying to give you guys a little better experience where we're working on. We're always trying to do a little bit better than we did last time.
Yeah. If you look at some of the older videos, they're a little wonky, but they're also not that old. We haven't been doing this for that long, so yeah, this is another conflicting pack, and I think that's the worst part, right? Is because the promo that you can get is likely 3 colors. To get your rare for your seeded pack, and then get your promo as a different 3-color thing.
Especially when only one color shares.
Right, or forbidden. But yeah, now this is not a seeded pack. This is just a random foil.
Have you seen Shadow Mortality?
Yeah, I showed one. It's interesting, right? Like, it's similar to a card, Death Shadow, that gets played in Modern. It's certainly different, but it functions along the same axes of like life totals.
Or Scourge of the Sky Glaives, I believe, is a similar card.
Yes. Although that card's hilarious with a card from Ikoria that cares about bringing back things from your graveyard equal to their power, and it counts as negative power in your graveyard.
Oh yeah, the Ikoria. I believe that is the Nethroi.
Nethroi, yeah, that's a good one.
And so
you got some more stuff. Because I'm fresh out.
All right, here we'll give you 3. You're a bit faster than me.
That's fair.
So Shadow is not those 2 cards though.
That is correct. It is neither of those cards.
It never gets cheaper than 2. It never gets better than a 7/7. Now, what it is better than those cards is if you happen to be playing a a Hidetsugu. Mm-hmm. It is quite good with Hidetsugu.
Like a Heartless Hidetsugu, or?
Oh no, the new Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, where it cares about top deck.
Oh, I see.
When you're looking at the mana value of a card, that is a 15 CMC for your old dudes. Oh, I got a card that actually compares to some of that.
Nice.
Got a Phyrexian for a brass.
What's it say? You don't know.
Interesting enough, Reddit knows. Reddit was able to decipher.
Oh, because there's enough of the alphabet now.
Yes, they were
Nice.
able to decipher what the Kamigawa Jinga Taxis did only upon looking at the Phyrexian script before they actually spoiled in regular text.
That's pretty good.
So there's someone out there who can do it. Now, spoken, that's a little different there. I'm not sure whether the spoken part of that goes.
Now, well, yeah, I don't think we've heard it yet. But there's a foil
Ooh,
for.
that is what we're saying, that's the Metropolis?
Yeah, the Metropolis style.
That is a good looking art.
They are. The lands all look better as foil. Which is a weird thing to say, because obviously you would think that, right? But not always.
No, not always.
Put that in the right box.
That feels appropriate to me.
But yeah, we're rounding down to the end here. I'm on my last pack, I think. Dan, you're on your last pack, right?
I'm stacking away my last pack right now.
Alright, solid. So currently we still have the get to 100 subscribers $100 commander deck giveaway happening. So like, subscribe, and comment.
Does a lot for us.
On the video after we get to 100, it'll be a commander video. And then we'll do a giveaway for that. I'm going to finish here on a Rafine,
That is a fun card.
which is pretty good.
All right, so if we're looking at all of the mob bosses,
Yeah.
I think Rafine is in 60 card format's the strongest, and I think in limited is the strongest. Because Connive X for X number of attacking creatures,
Yeah.
and that is you pick which one that's attacking.
Yeah.
Fun card.
Pretty good. So the other thing we want to mention is that we're going to be doing a series of videos in the future using either the uncommon or rare 3-color legendary creatures from this set, and then some people might opt to use the
Mono.
not the mono, the commanders from the commander decks. And we're going to play in kind of a league where players will earn points based on their finish, 4, 3, 2, 1, first, second, third, fourth, respectively. And then it's just kind of for fun, but they're all power level 7s. And
That's why I was thinking of. I know Granby said multicolor. That's why I was thinking Gyata was going to be sitting around as a 7, but
Yeah.
I've been eyeing a couple other things too. So we'll see what I play in it.
that's fair. You're somewhere between Grixis and
Mono, like yeah.
mono. Wow.
If we're not doing
man.
mono, I will. I gotta figure out who's playing what, and then I will adapt. That's what I do.
That's fair. I'm on. What's her name? She has a weird name. Quasar or something. Yeah, Quasar.
Quasar. That is.
Augur of Agonies.
No, it's.
I would argue SCH, but that's just because the colors that she's in.
Yeah, pick a Nekasar, replace the red with white, and give you life on that too.
Pretty good.
I'll take it.
All right, but that's it for us today, right?
I believe so.
Solid finishes, man. Solid finishes.
Oh yeah, I glad I got at least something for the books.
That's fair. All right. Well, we're gonna sort this up and catch you next one.
All right, you guys have a good one.